Hey, it's me again. Bear with me as we go through some more vocabulary. Once again, these vocabulary words are not only important for history, but all areas of courses, history, English, science, and not just U.S. history, all histories. Um, all right, so we ended the last video. Okay, let's see. We're gonna something easy that everybody kind of knows this word is abbreviate. But abbreviations in history, just like in science, are very important. Abbreviate means to shorten by omitting letters or substituting shorter forms. Um, in history, oftentimes we abbreviate states. We abbreviate other important things in science as well. Um, all right, the next one is, let's see here, bear with me. An acronym. So this is important in history as well, especially U.S. history. A word formed from the initial letters or groups of letters of the words in a name or phrase. So a good example is WAC, or WAC, what we know as Women's Auxiliary Corps. So that's an acronym. You take the first letters of each word to form an acronym. Oftentimes we do that in English as well. There's several examples of that. All right. The next word, let's see here, as anticipate. Anticipate's not just a history word, it's not just an English word. We use it in all aspects of life. To anticipate something is to expect it or to look forward to it. Currently, I am anticipating starting back to school. So that's a word that we can use in our everyday lives. And a lot of times I know Miss Waldrop leaves you anticipating what is going to happen next in her class the next day in history. Approach is our next word. It's another word, just like anticipate, that we use in our everyday lives. It's not just a history vocabulary word, but it could also be used on the ACT. Approach means to come nearer to. It just means you're coming to. So you approached a teacher or you approached another student. All right, another important vocab word for not only history but ACT as well is to assess. You determine the amount of. So we use that word and that definition a lot in science as well, chemistry and physics and things like that, where you measure things. You are assessing the amount of. All right, the next word, let's see. Uh-oh. It's going to be to assume. It's another word that is a word we use a lot in English. You are assuming something's going to happen. So the definition is to take for granted or without proof. So we assume we're going to start back to school in August. Hopefully we will. But that is something that we take for granted. We assume we're going to start school in August. That's another important word for the ACT. All right, let's see here. The next word is chart. You know, we chart a lot of things. We chart in math, we chart in science, and we also chart in history. The first chart that comes to my mind is in Miss Field's biology class. Everybody knows that chart. And so the definition of a chart is a sheet giving information in tabular or diagrammatic form. So it's just giving you things in order, how you need to know things, how you need to memorize those things. We use charts every day. Okay. To clarify. Clarify means to free from confusion, to become clear. So you're just clarifying things. If you don't understand something in class, you ask for clarification or for the teacher to clarify what they mean by that. Okay. The next word is going to be to compare. We use compare a lot. You've heard compare for years in English. You're comparing and contrasting. In this case, the compare means to examine one or more objects, ideas, people in order to note similarities and differences. So you're comparing two things, three things. You're just noticing the differences and the similarities in those things. Okay. The next word is to consequence. We should all know this word because when you're punished, you face consequences. The definition of consequence is the effect, result, or outcome of something occurring earlier. So consequence is something you face after you do something else. Doesn't necessarily have to be bad, but we all face consequences of our actions, the results of our actions. Okay. All right. A few more here. So let's see. The next word is to correlate. Correlate is difficult to explain, so I know it's hard to understand. Correlate means to put in a mutual relationship. So correlate is often used in statistics. When we learn about that in Algebra 2 and Algebra 1, you're correlating things that are similar or not similar. You're just putting them in a relationship. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is to, well, let's see, where is it? All right, formulate. We know this word from English as well. Is to devise or develop as a method or system. You are formulating a hypothesis in science, or you are formulating an opinion. And you can formulate an opinion in English, in history, all of the above. Okay. Our next word is to repeal or to do away with. Repeal is often used in government situations. Let's see. Activist. Okay, we talked about lobbyists in the last video. Activists are people who actively work for or against something. An activist, oftentimes believes in something, and they are actively working against that or what they believe, against other people that don't believe the same way they do. They generally pick something and they are active toward supporting that cause. Okay. And our last one for this video is to significant. Is significant. It just means important. So we can use this word in all aspects of life, not just in history. Significant means that it is something of relevance. Everything in history is significant. Okay. Sometimes teachers tell you that this is a significant information. So it means that it's important. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks.